services that have intelligence built into them in helping you in every aspect of your job search. And that includes from helping you draft and redraft your resume, how to tailor your resume to a specific job, because you're not going to have just one resume, you're going to have multiple resumes, how to write cover letters, how to search for jobs, how to do networking, how to increase your presence on the web, how to reduce bad information on the web about you, and to present yourself in the best light. And I specifically want to focus on people who've been recently within the federal government and are looking for new employment opportunities as a result of changes in the job market. Because oftentimes those people will have a certain set of skills and a certain way of talking and a certain way of presenting themselves that is suited for the federal government, but not necessarily suited for the private jobs market. And so they need to learn a whole new language about how to present themselves for the private sector, how to readdress skills and the like for the private job market. Believe it or not, it's funny because I am skeptical of artificial intelligence. I'm skeptical of the technology. I'm skeptical of many aspects of it. And yet I use it every day. And I use it to help me craft things. And the easiest and best use of AI, and when I'm speaking about AI generally, I'm talking here mostly about a program called ChatGPT. What I like most about it is the way it solves what I call the white page problem. And that is you're sitting in front of a blank page. You know you have a task to do. You're not sure how to do it. And so ChatGPT will help you in that regard. And before I jump into the slides, let me give you an example of what ChatGPT looks like, and then just basically how to use it, just generically. So, this is what a blank ChatGPT screen looks like. And if it reminds you of a Google search tool, it's very much built on that minimalist design. And you will see within, and this is the professional version of ChatGPT, and what you will see within the professional version of ChatGPT, which is slightly different than the free version, is once you log in, and you can tell that I'm logged in because you can see my picture there, you have these various buttons. And the most important ones here are the plus button and the deep research button. But let's start with the blank page. We have no idea what to ask. So you say, I am recently doged EPA employee looking for a new job after 50. Give me 10 things I should do. There you go. Now, the difference between AI and search is if I were to put this into a Google search engine, not the AI powered part of the Google search engine, it would search for articles that have these terms in it, something that has already been written by somebody to answer this question. When I do this in an artificial intelligence engine like this, it actually creates new content that did not exist before. So here, it will generate new content after thanking me for my service. So it's giving me a list of the things that I should be doing right away, like requesting my official records and showing me a link on how to do it. Clarify the nature of my departure. Update my resume. So you can just ask generic questions of ChatGPT and get fairly good answers. And these are all things, very few of these things are things that I would have thought of on my own. Things that I can do, okay? So that's a generic thing that you can do. There is no limit to the types of things you can ask in this empty box ChatGPT to do for you. So you can say, for example, what are the best resources for updating my federal resume online? It's still churning out the last answer, but and not only does it provide me with the answers, it provides me links to the various places. So ChatGPT is a great resource just to begin with anything. Okay. And what's interesting is our son, our older son, who's in his early 30s, is very skeptical of ChatGPT as well, and he refuses to use it. So I think people at one end of the spectrum, age spectrum, and at the other end of the age spectrum, both have this idea that they're a little bit skeptical of using ChatGPT. But there are a lot of problems associated with AI. It has biases, it has prejudices, and it has hallucinations. It makes things up. But I think you can use it as an effective tool. And so what I will do now, let's take a look here. All right. Can you see the slides? Okay. So what we're going to do is talk about how you can use AI in your job search. And this is designed primarily for people over 50 to gain a competitive edge. We're going to look at some of the tools and techniques you can learn how to automate your search and master prompts and AI tools. And I think the most important thing is to be able to master prompts. What I just did, the search, the question, the query I gave is an AI prompt. And you can make them generic, you can make them specific. And what you are doing when you are using ChatGPT is you are interacting with an artificial intelligence tool. And that means that in order to get to where you want to go, typically you may have to ask 8, 10, 12, 15 different prompts to get something that you want to get to. So you need to be skeptical of the results. So one of the things to note is that you're going to get a job one of two ways, and probably a combination of both. One is that somebody you know will know of a job opportunity and will recommend it to you and recommend you to whoever is hiring. And they will shepherd your job through that process. That is the best way to find a job. I know of somebody who is looking for this. Let me get you their resume. Let me get the resume to them. That will shepherd you through the process. And there are ways to use AI to put yourself in that position. The second way people do is they find jobs on job boards like Indeed, Monster, whatever, and they apply for those jobs. And there are tools and techniques for using that as well. So when you're applying for a job in the modern job market, you should recognize that there's a very good chance that no human will read your resume. Your resume will be based upon a set of job requirements that have been posted, input into a computer, and they're looking to see whether your job skills meet with their requirements. And I'm going to tell you the story about George Clooney when he was an aspiring actor in his 20s, and he was going out for auditions, and he would say, I really need this job. I need them to hire me. He had a problem. He needed a job, and he was hoping that the casting director would be the solution to his problem. And he was not having a lot of success. And then he said he realized at one point that he was looking at this all wrong. That somebody had written a play, a movie, a television show, a script of some kind, and there was a character in it, 20-year-old guy from Kentucky, whatever the character was. And that character was in the play, movie, or television show. And they needed somebody to play that part. They could not make the movie, play, or television show without somebody there to play that part. And they had advertised hey, we need somebody who can do this. And he realized they weren't the solution to his problem. He was the solution to their problem. So a lot of what you're going to be doing is trying to craft your resume in a way that says, I am the solution to your problem. And what's great about that is if a company has taken the time, energy, and expense to advertise a job on any of these boards, not only have they defined that they have a problem, we need somebody, they have defined exactly what the problem is and what the solution to that problem is. And all you have to do is be that solution. So you're going to come in and say, I am exactly what you need and more, because I will solve problems that you didn't even think that you had, that you didn't even think to advertise. And so these ATS systems, applicant tracking systems, are used to identify qualified applicants who have the minimum skills necessary and winnow it down from 300 resumes to 12. And part of what you want to do is you want to pass through that ATS system. If that ATS system blocks you, nobody sees your resume. And fortunately, these AI programs can help you do that. So some of the tools that we talk about here are ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is what's called generative artificial intelligence. What ChatGPT does is it takes a large body of data, what's called an LLM, a large language model, and it is trained on that LLM. It's trained about how sentences normally appear, how language normally appears, how do people communicate, what does a essay look like, what does a poem look like, what does a limerick look like, and it reads over time, and then it also amasses facts. And what it does is it emulates or approximates human speech, human thought, human reasoning based upon what it has already seen. And it generates content based upon that. So you can ask ChatGPT, for example, write a poem, write a limerick, write a screenplay, and it will, based on what it's read, generate content. What that also means is that the content that it generates tends to be homogeneous. If I were to ask ChatGPT to write an essay about the book Moby Dick, it will do exactly what you were supposed to do in fifth grade. It will start with a topic sentence. It will then give an outline, and it'll go point A, point B, point C, point D, conclusion. It will look exactly like, and I say ChatGPT is like every day writing a book report on a book that it hasn't read. And we remember doing that. So a lot of what you're going to be doing if you're going to use AI programming and stuff is crafting it to what you need it to be. There are other tools like Gemini, Google's Gemini, which integrates with Google Documents and email. So it's really useful for like write a quick email response, or it works with your email, with your search engine, with Google Documents. So if you bring up a Google document now, it will have an AI generating program within that document. There is a program called JobScan, and JobScan does automatically what I'm going to show you how to do with ChatGPT, where it will link your job, your resume to jobs, and then modify your resume, right? And then there's other things like Google's Warm Up, which is a new feature they have, so you can actually do practice job interviews and interact directly with the AI. So,
Mark, can we ask a couple of questions?
questions, sure.
Someone asked, as I use Chat GPT paid, is it start it is starting to custom it is starting to customize answers to my questions based on prior questions and resume upload. Will it house my information and farm it out to others?
Okay. So you're absolutely right that that's how it works. All right. And you will see a couple of things about ChatGPT. Out of the box, it has lots of capabilities. But as you start to use it, it starts to understand your style, your technique. And it does so. And let me show you this way here. Here, you see my Chat GPT screen?
Yes.
So you'll see on the side of Chat GPT here, all of the searches that I've done in the past. All right. So, and it goes back several months. So here would be one search that I did, and it'll bring it up. All of that is stored on ChatGPT servers. It is scanned and becomes part of what ChatGPT knows, but it is not accessible by anybody else. So it becomes part of the learning project, but not something that's available to anybody else. So one of the questions here, the other thing you can do with ChatGPT is you can add files to it. So I can add files from my Google Drive. So here's a copy of my resume. And that is similarly stored on ChatGPT servers, but not available to others. Now, the advantage is one of the things I've done is I've written probably over 6,000 or 7,000 articles. And I've taken those articles and I have uploaded them to ChatGPT so that when I write a new article using ChatGPT, I will say, write an article in the style of Mark Rasch on the following topic. And it will, and then when it finishes it, I'll say, same, but make it 25% more sarcastic. So I can take my resume and say, make this resume much more effective and streamlined. Okay. Now, what does effective mean? What does streamlined mean? And here it will generate a resume. And this is a lot shorter than the one that I just fed to it. And we're going to play with that a little bit later.
And then we have a couple,
Yeah.
This is a good question because someone said, I tried to use AI, I think Microsoft Copilot, to write cover letters since that is the most time-consuming aspect of many applications. I linked the job description and uploaded my resume and asked for a cover letter. I expected the cover letter to refer to specific points in the job description, but I've only gotten generic cover letters. Any suggestions?
Yes. Don't say write a cover letter. All right. Let me just give you an example. Okay. So my resume has been uploaded into this chat. Now let's find a job. We're going to find a job, cybersecurity counsel. Okay. Let's try a different job here. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Here's one, senior counsel, privacy and data risk. Okay. Now, I'm not even going to read it. Copy. Paste. And now I'm going to go here. And I'm going to say, draft a cover letter for Mark Rasch for the following position. Highlight skills and attributes in the resume that make me the perfect candidate for this specific position. Make the cover letter warm and friendly, but inviting and effective. Okay. So the things you want to do when you're doing this is tell it what to do. I didn't want it to just write a cover letter. If you tell it write a cover letter, it just writes a cover letter. Okay. Stress that I am exactly what they are looking for. Okay. And let's see what it does.
People are asking, Mark, since employers kind of know that people are using these,
Yep.
AI, how accepting are employers of using this
Here's the thing.
technology?
This is now a first draft of a letter from me to the hiring committee. This is not where I'm going to end up. This is going to be far too generic and will have certain tells that tell it that it was written by ChatGPT. All right. What you're going to do is now I am going to craft that. I'm just going to show you how I do that. All right.
Do briefly, because you only have a few minutes, so
Okay.
you want to get rid of more stuff.
So here,
and this applies to people who said, so do I need to have a different resume for each job I apply to? Yes,
end of the
yes,
day, yes. But
yes.
that's what ChatGPT does. Okay. I'm going to show you same but. Note that I worked on connected cars at Verizon and telematics, that I worked on IoT systems, worked cases with the BKA in Germany, and that my mother is German and I have German heritage and no German privacy law. Okay. Now that
So
would never have been in my resume because it's not appropriate for the resume. But now it's going to look much more targeted.
someone said, it's a telltale sign when the first line written by ChatGPT starts off with, I'm excited to apply for.
Right. Okay. So
So
let's
you can change. I mean, this
make
again got
this so that it is impossible to tell it was written by Chat GPT. Let's see if it does it again. There you go. Now it changed the first sentence.
and these are just ways to strengthen your cover letter, your resume. By no means are we encouraging you to have to write it purely using ChatGPT and then submit it. That would be wrong. So these are just ways to enhance your job search materials.
Right.
So Mark, you want to go on to your presentation because you don't have much more time. So
I don't need much more time.
so
All right. Let me go back to the.
okay, I won't interrupt you.
Okay. I think that's more interesting anyway.
They had some great questions.
So remember the idea here is you can ask ChatGPT anything. So you sign up for a free account, you get that blank screen, and you can ask any kind of questions you want, like compare this resume with the job description, highlight the skills, find out what's missing, what job do I need, that kind of thing. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Jasper, JobScan, these are all different tools that do different things. They're tailored for marketing and branding support. Now, here what I'm talking about here is this is Da Vinci's horses. He has a famous sculpture that was never completed of equestrian sculpture. And they asked him, this is apocryphal, how do you make such a beautiful sculpture of a horse? He said, you get a piece of marble and you cut away everything that is not a horse. And so what you're doing here with ChatGPT is you're interacting with it. You're cutting away and cutting away and cutting away until you have what you want it to be. So you have to think about, what is it I want it to do? Who is my target audience? What information does it need to have from me? And then you go back and you can say, same but. Okay, that's a good start, but this time I want it to be friendly. This time I want it to be more analytic. This time I wanted to emphasize more of my people skills. This time I wanted to emphasize the technical knowledge that I have. Whatever it is, and you are going to craft a cover letter with the help of ChatGPT rather than having ChatGPT craft the cover letter for you. Okay, so a lot of things you can do in writing a resume initially. You can take a shot at just throwing everything into a resume and then say, make this focused on the following. Focus on my skills, focus on my experiences, focus on my accomplishments, whatever it is. Make this a hybrid resume. Remove outdated jargon. Give me quantifiable results, those types of things. You can ask ChatGPT to highlight your resume. You can use various other resume tools like JobScan, Resume.io, My Perfect Resume, Gemini. All of these can help you craft the initial resume. Then you can go to LinkedIn and Indeed and other job skill places and find jobs that match your resume or find jobs that you want to do. And then you can say, match my resume to my skills to this job. What is the employer looking for that's missing from my resume? Update my resume to meet these skills. And you can tailor your resume to each individual job. Now, the other thing you can do is you can pray and spray. And when you pray and spray, you can literally tell ChatGPT, find every job in the country that's either remote or in my area that has the following job description. Take my resume, tailor it to that, send out my resume, follow up with an email, and then just have hundreds of them. That is a very ineffective way of finding a job search, and it will be seen through very quickly. But what you can do is you can say, identify these jobs. Once you've identified them, have ChatGPT help you tailor your resume and cover letter, and then it can do some of the scheduling and say, a week after I send the first cover letter, send a follow-up email. And then 2 weeks later, send another email that says, I'm still interested in the job. Let me know if you need any other information. And it can actually do this in an automated process. It can also help you write a cover letter, but you can tailor the cover letter by saying, write this for this job, align this with the company's mission, highlight my leadership skills, make the tone more friendly, make the tone more precise. Okay. Write a professional summary. You can now on LinkedIn, you can now use AI tools to make your LinkedIn more accessible. You can use it for personal branding. So for example, I write lots of articles. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, if you're on any social media, you can make yourself an expert in a particular field saying, write a 300-word blog post about whether it's smart to bathe in Rock Creek Park. Whatever it is you want to write. And then you can have it write that. And you can write articles and get engaged with other people and make connections. You can establish your bona fides and knowledge in an area that you want to write. You can use it to respond to blog posts. So you can get to be well known in a field. You can use it to network. You can go back to former colleagues, or thank you notes, and suggest ways to introduce yourself. Post on LinkedIn. You can use it for interview prep, asking them, what kind of questions should I ask? You can actually generate an interview online, okay? And then you can ask it to rewrite your skill. So Those are the things you can get it to do. Basically, anything that you would need help with, you can get AI to help you with. And now let's take like 1 or 2 questions because I only have like a minute. What do we?
No, you're good. You actually have 15 more minutes.
Oh, I thought it was 45 minutes total.
No, you started at 10:15, so you're
Oh,
good.
great. All right, great. What I'm going to do
Okay.
now, we went through the slides. Now I'm going to just talk for a bit and answer any questions. But
Okay.
yeah,
If they want to know about the free version, is it what is the difference in charge from the free to the professional version? And is the free version of ChatGPT sufficient, or do you recommend purchasing Plus or Pro?
I have plus on and pro. I have both. I have plus that I use personally, and then professionally I also have the pro version. The plus version is $20, and the big difference is, and I will show you here, a couple of things that you can do with the plus version. Number one, it retains a lot of your old searches. So if you want to go back, and like I was writing an article about revocation of citizenship, I can go back and it's all still there. That's number one. Second is the ability to add documents to it. I find that very useful, and to get it to speak in your voice. The third thing is here, deep research. So I can ask a question like I was writing here about what is the history of revoking the citizenship of U.S. communists in the area that I'm interested in. And I click on deep research. And when I click on deep research, it will take a lot longer. Okay. And notice what it does is it says, okay, it interacts with me. It doesn't just go ahead and do it. All of the above. Doesn't care about spelling. And now it'll take about 5 or 6 minutes to generate an answer to this question. But what it will do is it will not generate just a generic answer. It will actually do some deep research on vetted sources. So that is a new feature that you have there. For resume writing, for interacting like that, not something you absolutely need, but if you're going to be doing it for research and writing, I think that it's also very useful. The other thing is that the pro version gives you the ability to do a lot more of these searches. And you'll see also there are various versions of ChatGPT. When you have the paid for version, you get the latest version of ChatGPT, which has an expanded memory and an expanded capability.
Okay. What about training GPT for your voice way of speaking? Can you can is that something that you can do?
Yes, and then you do it by going here and adding documents to ChatGPT and saying, you can train ChatGPT on your pre-existing documents.
Okay.
They
How
write.
many file? Oh, how many files can you add to your prompts when using GPT free version?
I find that depending on the size of the documents, probably 8 or 10 at a batch. I don't know what the total limit is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does
so
my info become data used to train ChatGPT?
I believe it does. I believe your info becomes part of what the training model is, but it is not available to others. There are
So,
versions of
mhm.
ChatGPT which are private versions of ChatGPT. So an enterprise can buy an enterprise version of ChatGPT that will be trained only on the documents in that enterprise and not share it outside. So the documents aren't shared, but the analysis becomes part of ChatGPT's learning base. That
So
is.
someone said something about putting personal information on ChatGPT. See, this person says, I would not put my personal information on ChatGPT servers. They're used to train ChatGPT, but then whatever you have that you becomes part of the responses that they feed to other people. So that's a no-no, especially if you're uploading your personal information to ChatGPT, which you should never do. Do you agree with that?
Let's see what ChatGPT says about it.
And someone said, did you upload all your articles into one chat? I'm very interested in trying this.
Um, I have uploaded blocks of them over time, not into one specific chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, can you ask ChatGPT to make your resume ATS approved?
That's not how it works. Okay.
Okay.
So an ATS system filters, blocks, and preferences resumes based on whoever asks for the job. So if I am looking for somebody who is a technical writer in the area of environmental sciences, I will tell the ATS system, I need somebody who is organized, self-starting, um, high level of skills in writing with a deep knowledge of this, and this. I tell the ATS system what it is I am looking for. So the idea is if I look at a job like this one here, senior counsel, it will tell me exactly what it is that I'm looking for, what they're looking for. Okay. So it's not just giving legal advice, it's overseeing it. Okay. There are little skills that you can take from this from the job posting to figure out what they're looking for. All right. They need somebody who knows federal, state, and information privacy and data security laws. They're telling you about, they want you to know privacy by design. They will know how, you need how to do risk assessments, negotiate contracts. Okay. They're telling you what they're looking for. So when you're going to an ATS system, what you're saying is make my resume look to the greatest extent possible like what you're looking for.
So what is your response to, do you feel, in chat, there's a discussion where someone indicates that you should only put like a generic resume of your resume with your personal information stripped out. And then have ChatGPT work on your generic resume, and then you can add your personal information back in. But they are adamant about not putting any of your personal information on any publicly available
Well, but
site.
you're not going to have your resume on LinkedIn. You're not going to have it on Facebook. You know, you're not going to be able to network. It is a balance, right? If you remember, one of the things you're doing when you're looking for a job is you are marketing yourself. You are saying, I am great. These are the things I can do. And I'm going to market myself. My name is out there associated, my name and my email address is associated with this presentation. It's very hard to market yourself without giving out personal information. So,
Yeah,
so it is a balance. If
right.
you can do it, one of the problems is if I understand you might take out your name and your email address, and you're not going to have your physical address in there anyway. Your name and your email address, but with everything else, I can figure all that stuff out. So remember, if your resume is out there, it's already probably been scanned by AI programs already.
Does it only accept Google Docs, or can you upload from other programs?
Right now, as far as I can tell, you can upload from anywhere. If you click on here, you can see add photos and files. So you can any photos or files that you have. But in terms of integration, so far the only integration I've seen is Google Docs. But you can do Microsoft OneDrive. Let's see what other apps. Those are the only apps that I've seen.
Okay, let's see. Okay, we got that. Okay, I'm just looking because there's um, so many questions. Okay. Okay. I'm just
Chat
okay. Yeah,
data.
okay. Um okay, someone asked, can I use this tool to look for jobs in Europe?
Sure.
And someone said, if resumes are not even read by humans, who is going to read the follow-up emails?
Well, okay. So one of the things what ends up happening is they have, let's say they have 1,000 resumes they get. They'll winnow it down to a number like 12, 15, whatever it is they think is manageable. And so the winnowing process by the ATS system is going to look for certain keywords. And what you want to do, there you go, is make sure that those keywords are in your resume. And the way you do it is if they're asking for somebody who is has a particular certification or license, and you don't have that certification or license, make sure that certification or license appears appropriately in your resume. So let's say they're looking for somebody who is RNS certified. I just made that up, whatever it is. You can write in your resume, eligible for RNS certification, or have taken courses towards RNS certification, or have a QRL certification, similar to RNS certification. Because the AI program will just look for the word RNS certification. It will not look for the context. So that'll get you past the initial scan. Okay.
Mark, this is a good question. Can you demonstrate how to generate an interview based on a job description for a resume or resume? And then someone asked, I'm interested in using AI in LinkedIn. Are there how-to YouTube channels, etc.?
Yes, there are. And LinkedIn has its own embedded AI programs that'll help you write chats and things like that.
Someone said, hi, Mark, we're looking at job opening. LinkedIn has Am I a Good Fit AI tool. Is this good or better to use Chat GPT?
LinkedIn is better integrated with LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for LA looking on LinkedIn for jobs using LinkedIn Jobs, probably use the LinkedIn AI program.
Okay, and then and so you're talking about interviewing now because someone said, could you talk a little bit about AI hosted interviews where no human is involved? Oh,
I
that's
haven't
awful.
seen those.
Mm.
You get to the interview there are AI questionnaires and stuff. I haven't seen an actual interview. I assume we're going to get to that point. But that's kind of terrifying.
And someone said, doesn't using Chat GPT and passing AI generated text as your own count as plagiarism?
It does not, because you're not doing that. You're using an AI tool to help you write your cover letter, to help you write your resume. It is still
Yeah.
your work product. You are responsible for it. You need to check any facts that it spits out, check any citations it gives, make sure they're accurate. But you are not, this is the new skill.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many people now still know how to use a slide rule? When I was in elementary, in middle school, using a calculator was cheating. You'll never learn math if you use a calculator. Well, yes, but I'll learn how to use a calculator.
And they have now they have jobs, don't they have AI wrangler jobs and
They have chat wranglers.
yeah, chat wranglers. Um, how to use deep research for a job search?
So I don't know that deep research would be particularly useful. As I said before, I don't think deep research is a skill you need to have for a particular job search, but it is useful for writing articles that might get you better known.
Since employers generally spend about 7 to 9 seconds on your resume, what would you ask ChatGPT to make it pop? Also, are they really reading cover letters anymore?
The answer to the second question is probably not, but I'll tell you something. So after I gave this course for Jody's Career Gateway program, one of the Career Gateway participants showed her a cover letter. That one, how old was she, Jody?
79.
79 years old. and she showed Jody a cover letter, and Jody goes, "This is the best cover letter I have ever read. This is fantastic." And the woman said, "Thank you, Chat GPT." So the thing about it is, if you can write a really good cover letter, that may be the difference in that particular job. So the answer, and what was the other? Oh,
How do you make it pop? Since what would you ask ChatGPT to make it pop?
right. That's like asking, why is a movie good? What makes me want to watch a movie? What makes me want to read a book? And in general, you're right. They are only going to spend 10 seconds, which means I highly recommend that you have a summary line. And when I do resume reviewing for the Career Gateway, the first question I have is, who is this person and what do they do? So you can answer that question in the first sentence of your resume. And my resume has that. It has a first line that says, world recognized expert on data privacy and data security. Boom. That makes somebody want to read the rest of it. So a first sentence as a summary of who you are and what you do, and why is how you make it pop, and that's what you want to do.
Okay, Mark, unfortunately, we are out of time. I don't know if you have any time to jump into chat to answer some questions, or do you not have time?
I will jump into chat for a few minutes and answer some questions.
Okay, so we're starting at 10:49. This is talking about, I said it's more of a statement that you could opt out of saving things to the system. So you can?
But that limits its utility because it won't remember you.
Okay. Oh, that's a good, okay. And then so we're at 10:50. What is personal info in this instance? And then Mark, if you could just go, I'm just going to tell you